Kingdom Bash review, everybody. I was going to take notes on what I wanted to talk about, but I couldn't, like when I sat down to get ready to write the notes, I couldn't decide what to write about. So, I decided, what the heck, we'll just talk about what I feel like talking about. And I can always, if I forget anything, I can always just let you guys know in comments what I thought about certain things if you guys ask me certain things. Of course, we gotta talk about my Dorian. Well, first, before people that don't want to be spoiled leaves, I want to say, of course, everybody probably knows my favorite was Dorian. Again, he's my baby. I'm sorry, he's my hubby. I just love him to pieces. He's always going to be my favorite out of this book. I will say, who surprised me a lot is Cal. I've always been like off and on with Cal throughout the whole series. I didn't like him at first in Throne of Glass, and then I started liking him toward the end of Throne of Glass. Then I liked him the beginning of Crown of Midnight. Didn't like him at the end of Crown of Midnight. Liked him a little bit in Heir of Fire, but then not that much. Loved him in why'd I forget it? Queen of Shadows. And then thought he was pretty good of course he wasn't in Empire of Storms, whatever you want to call it. But I liked him a lot. The best I liked him, it was in Tower of Dawn. Even though Tower of Dawn wasn't my favorite book, it was my favorite book that he was in. So, before this book, I should say. So I really liked him a lot more in this book. Yeah, I like him with Irene. I know I always spell her name wrong. I always spell it I-R-E-N-E, and I know that ain't how you spell it. But I always forget how you spell her name. You guys probably know already how to spell it, but so I guess it don't matter if I know how to spell it or not. But yeah, I really like Irene. So she's probably my favorite girl in the series, next to Manon. Manon's my favorite, and she's another one, like in Heir of Fire, I could not stand Manon. And then I started liking her a little bit towards the end of Queen of Shadows. Going backwards. And then Empire of Storms, how do you say it? Loved her. And I loved her in this book. So really, I know this is a bad thing to say, but I think Manon's my favorite. And then Irene. And then Aelin. And I actually like Aelin better when she is Selena. But I don't hate her as Aelin. And then probably Lysandra and Nessa. Nessa is last out of the 5 that I'm thinking about. I don't know why I don't like Nesrin, or how you say her name, like everybody else does. I mean, I don't hate her, don't get me wrong. But I did kind of feel bad for her, though, in this book. I'll say why in a minute because of spoilers, but... Or people might think it's spoilers. I don't think it's spoiler, but whatever. But anyway. So that's all I can really say without going into spoilers. So, if you guys have not read... excuse me. If you guys have not read this beautiful bad boy, then please don't watch anymore because it's going to be spoilery, and I don't want you guys to be spoiled. And I don't know, like, if you, like... I don't know if anybody's going to be, like, commenting anything in the, down below, you know, in the thing about the book. So I would advise not going even into the message, you know, where notes or comment section. I would advise not going in the comment section until you've read the series, just in case there's any spoilers in it. But yeah, everybody that doesn't want to be spoiled, bye, and I hope you guys come back and watch the video afterwards. Alright, now spoilers! The reason why I felt bad for Nestor, how do you say her? Nestra? How do you say her name? It's because she wasn't really in this book a lot. And she didn't have a lot of, she didn't really have any, like, saving moments, you know what I mean? Like, anything, like, really important in this book. Like in, Tower of Dawn, you know, she found out that through the, whatever it was, that Maeve was the, Vlag, or how do you say that word? Queen? Whatever you want to call her. So she had a big part there. But in this book, I don't remember. Ain't that awful? She might have had a little good part in here, but I can't remember. So that's why I kind of feel sorry for her. Because I don't think her and her life mate, or whatever you want to call him, I forget how you say that guy's name. I always say his name wrong. But anyways, Tykran or Tackle? I don't know how you pronounce his name. I know I'm totally butchering it. But yeah, her and him just didn't have much of a book interaction. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't really... They were there. I don't even remember what they did. That's how bad it was. Like I said, the one that surprised me the most was Cal, because like I said, I was never a big fan of Cal, but I never hated him. I was just like, you know, he's there. Sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't like him, but I didn't hate him. But in this book, I really loved him. I think Irene mellowed him out a lot. I really do. I think when he found out that he was going to be a dad, even though his ass of a dad is the one that told him, I wish she would have told him before his dad mentioned anything, but oh well. But anyways, yeah, I love that part, though, that when we found out he was going to be a daddy. Oh, poor little cute Cal, all grown up and going to be a daddy. Irene, though, that girl, badass. That end, I'm not going to go in no particular order. I might backtrack and talk about something that was, you know, that happened before this part, but I loved when she killed that asshole. What is his name? Cannot think of his name. Dude, wait, what is his name? Not Darrow. Darrow's the, Adian's guy, that one guy from Adian. What is that guy's name? Man, oh jeez, I'm so bad at remembering names, you guys. It's ridiculous. But the Vlad guy, however you say his name. Not Vlad, why am I saying Vlad? Man, oh jeez, I can't find it. Like, I think this is already... let me see. What is his name? Erwin? No. What is his name? You guys, I am so bad at remembering names. I hate being like that where I can't remember names. But when they did that to that asshole. Okay, I'll have to be close to it. His name. Oh my god, I cannot even find the guy's name. My face is like driving me crazy. Yeah, that was right, Erwin. Erwin? I probably pronounced his name wrong, but yeah, him. I loved when she got that man and killed him. Woo, baby! That was so good. That scene was just awesome. So, I guess that's what I'll do. I'll talk about scenes that I really liked. That one was really awesome. Dorian. Of course, I gotta get back to my Dorian. Because he's my baby. When he found out he could shapeshift and he turned into a girl, and he was talking about his breast and how that he didn't realize how a breast would feel and all that, whatever, or felt, whatever he was saying, you know, that part. And then he was like, man, if I had time, I would be all over myself looking, feeling this, my body, and seeing what's there, what it feels like, the parts. That was so funny. And then Manon says, I'm surprised you haven't already felt yourself up, or whatever she said. And he said, how do you know if I didn't already? It was so hilarious. I just loved it. I loved when Aelin did the blood bond, or whatever you want to call it, to Aedion. Love that so much. Even though it was sad, I loved after Aedion's dad died. I can't remember his name. And I cried. I don't know why I cried so hard, because I don't remember him very much until like the last book before this one, I believe it was. Was his name Gavril or something like that? Gavril? Something like that. I loved, even though it was sad, that after he died, she did the blood oath, or whatever you want to call it, to him as well. That part, I think that's why I cried more than anything, because, you know, Aedion, you know, finally getting ready to make up with his dad and stuff, and then his dad goes and sacrifices himself, you know. But when she did that, I thought that was the sweetest thing, and it made me cry even worse. Yeah. It's just sad, but it was a good scene. And then I love, even though I missed it, and a lot of people talked about it, I think it was like on page 8 or 740 or 840, 7 something, 740 is it? You know, when Aelin is in the what's that place called? I don't even know. I got distracted. I got a note right here, and I don't I don't know what I did. I mean, where I just got distracted. I'm trying to find the page I'm thinking about. But anyways, the page where you know, where she was after she sent the gods to hell, whatever you want to say. I don't know if that's where they went. I think that's where they went. But anyways, that part, and she was going through, and we had the appearance of Rysand and Frey. How do you say her name? Frey? I forget how you say her name. Free? How do you say her name? Anyways, and she was pregnant. I love that. It was just so many good parts. Another good part, even though it was sad, was the 13 sacrificing themselves for Manon. Manon. How do you say? I always say her name wrong. I don't know why. Manon. There we go. So yeah, I liked that Nox was back for a little bit, but the thing I didn't like was that we never got a Nox and Aelin reunion. We got Nox with Lysandra / Aelin, but not with the real Aelin. But we did get Aelin reunion with Yrene, which was another scene I really loved. So yeah, and I really loved, like I said, the scene. I liked all the scenes, like with Aelin and Dorian and Cal, all three, you know. And then Dorian and Cal. I don't know why I said Dorian and Cal. I liked Cal and Aelin's when they first got to see each other again. And of course, like I said, with her and Yrene. So I liked that. But like I said, the one I liked but I didn't like at the same time, like I said, was Nox. I was so excited that when I heard that he was going to make an appearance, but I wanted him and Aelin to actually have a scene together. But the thing I liked is that he wasn't fooled by Lysandra, pretending like she was Aelin. He knew. So I love that he was at least smart enough to realize that it wasn't really Aelin. But yeah, that's the only part that bugged me though, was that I really wanted him and Aelin slash when she was slain, of course. But oh well, what can you do? Another thing that made me upset is the fighting in here between Lysandra and Adian and Lorcan and Alide, how do you say her name? Fight, fight, fight! You guys, get over it. You guys could die any minute, and you guys are fighting. And then when I know Adian was wrong about pushing her out and stuff, and treating her the way he did, pushing her into the snow, I think it was. But yeah, I don't know. I could understand like her being more upset. The one that really I was more mad at is Larkin and Alide, how do you say her name? Like, she was so mad at him. She told him, I hope you go to that battle or whatever and you don't come back or whatever. She said exactly, I don't know the exact words, but that's basically what she said. And then, what, 5 seconds later, or a chapter later, something like that, she, goes, steals, Cal's, thing. I forget what it was. Was it one of the, I don't know how to pronounce their names. The one, like, oh my gosh, I can't, Waverins? How do you say their names? The one that, Wyverins? I forget what you call them. The one that they ride on? My gosh, I forgot the name of it. What they're called. And I just hate when I can't remember. They're called Waverins or something like that. I cannot pronounce it, but anyways, yeah. I don't know. Was it one of those, or was it something else that she took, or was it a horse? I can't remember what she took. I'm so bad at like remembering certain things. I should have wrote it down for that one. But yeah, but she took off with them, with them. Oh, if that thing would have died, I would have been pissed. I'm sorry. I would have been pissed. I think I would have been more sad if if the animal would have died, to be perfectly honest. But I really like Lorcan better than Alide in that thing. Like, he was willing to sacrifice him, like make her drop him or whatever, for she could move faster on the horse. I guess it was a horse. And yeah. So I don't know about that. I really don't. Hey, baby girl. The cat's by the laptop. Did she put her tail in there? I don't know. You guys might have saw her tail in the video. I don't know. But anyways. But yeah, if that horse would have died, I would have been pissed. Or whatever it was. Oh my gosh. And another one is my favorite side character is definitely Fenris. Fenris, is that how you say his name? Definitely my favorite side character out of the guys. Just love him. Like, him breaking his oath, his blood oath to Maeve, to to help Aelin escape. And he knew that breaking the bond was gonna make him die. But he was willing to sacrifice himself for her. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Let's go back to Dorian for a minute. When he was pretending like he was gonna be a traitor and, be on Maeve's side and marry her and everything, a lot of people were like, oh no, that I saw reviews on. They believed him? That he was really serious? I was like, no. Dorian is not gonna do that to his friends. He loves them way too much. I mean, almost all through the beginning of the book. Oh, I'm gonna sacrifice myself because this and that, you know. And then he's gonna, trade sides? No, I knew that was not real at all. And I love that he set the trap. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I just love that. I just don't know how people believe that he would really, even for a second, that he would, like, change sides to be with Maeve. I loved when he killed the spider. I don't know what her name was. I can't remember, but I love that scene. Dorian just had a lot of kick-ass scenes in this book. By far. I mean, he just had a... I just love him so much. And I'm so excited because I'm going to, as soon as I get my Throne of Glass book, I'm going to start a reread of the series. One a month. I'm so excited to get back to it. I don't know if I'm going to read Assassin's Blade. I still got a little bit of time. I'm not sure though. I might. I'll probably just read it on my Kindle or on the laptop, whatever. But we'll see. But I know I'm going to be reading the other ones. Who knows? Maybe if I can find like a cheap copy somewhere of the Assassin's Blade, maybe I will buy it. But I don't want to spend like full price on it when it wasn't one of my favorite books for the series. But anyways, back to this. Oh my gosh. It was awesome when what's her name? Alina, I forget how you say her name. It's the girl, Evelyn, something like that. I cannot pronounce her name. See how bad I am at this? I cannot pronounce any of these guys' names. Evelyn, or Evelyn, I guess that's how you say it, Evelyn. I'm not sure. You guys know what I'm talking about, but yeah. I loved how she was able to tame Darrow. Like how, basically, Aelin said that that's how you could help by, getting him to change his mind. Whatever it was exactly. I don't know the exact words, but I love that she was able to do that. I love that, Eileen? Is that how you say her name? Eileen? How do you say her name? I love that her uncle got what was coming to him. Thank the Lord. What a jerk, asshole, whatever you want to say he was. I loved that after the spider died, that Lyssandra's uncle, I think it was his uncle, right? Yeah, uncle. How he turned young again, and then I love that they got their reunion scene. And he was telling her that, she gets all this and stuff. And she said she already had everything that she wanted. Aw, so sweet. I love to, even though I'm not like a lot of people don't like Manon and Dorian. But I'm kind of glad that she left it like open-ended for those two. Because I don't think Dorian was ready to marry anybody yet. I think he needs more time. I'm hoping, because I think they said that they were going to have, other, novellas and things from the world. I'm hoping one of them's going to be with Dorian, and he finally gets someone, even if it's not Manon. But I would love for him to have his own book. I mean, Cal got his, right, in Tower of Dawn. So I'd love for Dorian to get one. I think that would be so perfect, and I would buy it like crazy, because that's my baby. My baby. Another thing that was really good was when they used the key, and then they went to the palace, or whatever you want to call that place, and Dorian's dad was there, and he talked about not having a name, that he was no name, or that he was nameless. Ain't that what it is, nameless? I love that. And I love that when, before, Erwin, or however you say his name, got killed by by Irene. I love that Dorian wanted to know what his wanted his dad's name back, and when the guy said, "Oh, you know," the only time that he was able to like defeat me completely, like push me out completely, was when, and remember his name for a quick second, was after Dorian was born, and he held Dorian, and he gave Dorian his name, so Dorian's name, Dad's name is Dorian. I love that. Loved it so much. I thought that was so awesome that Sarah did that. I mean, oh my gosh. I just loved it so freaking much. I loved after she defeated Erwin, killed him, and they and after Aelin, you know, killed Maeve, and the rest of them killed Maeve. I forget exactly how it went, but I loved how after that everybody, you know, was chanting Irene, 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 Irene. I love that part. Loved it. I loved when Aelin, you know, when she was parading all the girls around, and then the guys were in back and showing, you know, how powerful all the girls were, and how they were like they saved. How it was them basically that saved everybody, the girls. I just loved how powerful that was. That scene was. Like I said, another scene, I already mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it again. The scene where the 13 died, sacrificed themselves. It was it was sad, but it was so beautiful, like how everybody, after they died, everybody was like, you know, like paying their respects, and Manon didn't even realize, you know, cause in her grief and stuff, but they were paying tribute to the 13 for sacrificing themselves. I think I was the only one I really was sad and I wish didn't die was Astrid. Astrid. I wish she would have survived because her Waverin, or however you say it, was Braxton's mate. His mate died. That was so sad. I think that was the saddest thing. I know that humans should be more. I mean, should be more sad, like when a human dies and when an animal dies. But I don't know. It's just sad. Yeah. I was just so happy with this book. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, no one died." Blah 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 blah. Okay. I don't remember who it was, but one of the YouTubers had a good point. This is like a fairy tale. I mean, you could have gone the dark way and had people die, but a lot of fairy tales end in happy endings. And Sarah decided that she wanted hers to be a happy ending. I mean, Aelin lost some of her power, not completely, but she lost all her human, right? And she's just Fae. So she only has that little bit of that fire and stuff. So she lost something. And, you know, so, yeah. I can understand why people want people to die sometimes in books, because, you know, people die in battle. People lose their loved ones. But I'm glad Sarah didn't do that. I was so worried about my Dorian because that's one thing that made me mad about him in this book. Every time he turned around, "Oh, I'm going to sacrifice myself and blah, blah, blah. I'm not good enough." Come on, Dorian. It was not your fault that your dad put the collar around your neck and you were so controlled like that. Not your fault. He needed to get over that. That's the only thing about Dorian in this book that made me upset. But everything else I just loved about him in this book. I mean, really, you guys, I just loved it. But I loved the, what is they called? The little folk. How do you say those things are? And how Aileen became the, what is that called? I forget what that one is called. The you know, geez, I hate when you can't find what you're looking for. You can't find it. But yeah, it's just sad. I mean, you know. I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought. I forgot where I was at. That's okay. We'll talk about something else since I forgot what I was talking about just now. But, let me see. Oh, I was just got distracted by something right here. I didn't tab it, but I like this part. It says Dorian was nearly slumped in his saddle, shield strapped over his back. Damaris, how do you say that thing? The sword is Saf, how do you say it? At his side. You look how I feel, Cal managed to say. Dorian slid sapphire eyes towards him, a spark of humor lightening the haunted depths. I know a king shouldn't slouch, he said, rubbing at his blood and dirt splattered face, but I can't bring myself to care. Cal smiled grimly. We have worse to worry about. Much worse. Oh boy. Let's see. Oh, I didn't even mention Anselin. Ansel? Is that how you say her name, Ansel? I liked her part in the book too. I didn't even mention her. And I'm wondering if her Ansel and what is that guy's name? And I like him too. And I didn't like him at first. Roloff or whatever his name is. Roloff or whatever you say his name with the R, I think it is. I've been wondering if him and her are gonna like each other. I don't know. Probably not. But it's just they were like giving off kind of hints. I love this part too. Dorian's blood splattered face drained of color. She has nothing left. We know, Aline said, her mouth tightening, which is why we need you. Cal must have realized the plan before his king, because her husband whirled to her, shield and sword hanging at his side. You can't, Alid quickly something explained the reckless mind. Mad idea. The lady of Parith idea. How do you say it name? Irene tried not to shake, tried not to tremble, as she realized that they were indeed about to do this. But Alid merely climbed onto the shifter's lengthy back and beckoned the king to follow, and Dorian, to his credit, did not hesitate. Yet Cal dropped his sword and shield to the bloody stones and gripped Irene's face between his hands. You can't, he said again, voice breaking. You can't. Irene put her hands atop Cal's and brought them brow to brow. You are my joy, was all she said to him. Her husband, her dearest friend, closed his eyes. The reek of lag, or how we say it, blood and metal clung to him, and yet beneath it was his scent, the smell of home. Cal at last opened his eyes, the bronze of them so vivid, alive, utterly alive, full of trust and understanding and pride. Go save the world, Irene, he whispered and kissed her brow. Irene let the kiss sink into her skin, a mark of protection of love that she carried with her into hell and beyond it. I love that part. And then he says to Dorian, keep her safe, was all Cal said. Perhaps the only order Irene realized he would ever give his king, their king. Ah. And then she put down, it was why she loved him. Why she knew that the child in her womb, would never spend a single moment wondering if it was loved. Aww. Dorian bowed his head. With my life. Then the king offered a hand to help Irene onto Lysandra's back. Let's make it count. Aww. Then it says, Lorcan knew Maeve had come, could feel her present in his bone, a dark, terrible song through the world, a vlog, or how you say that word, song. I don't know how you say that stupid word name. And it talks about how Gavel was dead, he died to give his son and those at the western gate a chance to shut them. Again, that part's sad. And then he thinks to himself, Aelin has to be insane, must have lost all her wits if she thought she could take on not just me, but our Erewhon too. That's one thing that drove me nuts about Larkin. He always like didn't have any faith in Alien. That kind of drove me nuts. I love let me find the part when she was like trying to get Erwin to leave and stuff, to turn against Maeve, and she was talking about how the Hitler was there, and that Maeve or Meave, how you say her name, knew, and she was gonna betray him and stuff. I like that part. I'm trying to find. I like that Sam was mentioned in the book. Another part that was really sad was when Dorian what was it? Like, I don't remember what happened, but something was going on and he like froze because like a head was chopped off and he saw the head moving. I think it was during a fight or something at the beginning with him. I'm not sure exactly, but that part was sad. I'm trying to find. This is the part I was trying to find. Erwin panted as he approached. Hitler, he breathed. His unholy power emanated from him like a black aura, something like that. She backed away a step, closer to the balcony rail. The Dark King followed her, a predator closing in on long-awaited prey. Do you know how long I looked for you? The wind tossed his golden hair. Do you even know what you can do? She hesitant, slamming into the balcony rail behind her. The drop so hideously endless, or how do you say that word? How do you think we took the keys in the first place? A hateful, horrible smile. In my world, your kind exists too. Not Hillers to us, but executioners, blah, blah, blah. And then he's talking about all that, and then he says, Maeve thinks I left to kill you, destroy you. Your little fire queen thought so too. She could not conceive that I want to find you before any harm could come to you. And now that I have, what fun you and I shall have, Irene towers. Another step closer, but no more. Erwin went still, tried and failed to move. Looked at the stones of the balcony then, and the bloody mark he'd ridden across to focus on his prey to notice. A winder mark, how do you say that word? To hold, to trap. The young Hiller smiled at him, and the white light across her hands winked out as her eyes shift from gold to sapphire. I'm not Irene. And then it says, Lysandra opened her talons, how do you say that word? Delicately dropping Irene to the balcony stones, lightning steam off her as she sprinted headfirst to Erwin. It says Dorian shifted back into his own body, healing light pouring off him, too, as he encircled his power around the window mark that held Erwin. The tower door burst open, a lead flying out of it just as Lysandra landed on a ghost leopard's silent feet upon the balcony. That part's interesting, and you hear him screaming. It says something about the world slowed and wrapped, yet Irene wasn't afraid. Says she was not afraid of the blinding white light that erupted from her staring to Erwin. This whole scene is just like epic. I like this part where it says, it was hope. Let me find it. He arched, shrieking, but Damaris, or how do you say that name, held him down, the ancient blade unwavering. His dark power rose, a wave to devour the world. Irene did not let it touch any of them. Hope. It was hope that Cal had said she carried with her, hope that now grew in her womb. For a better future, for a free world. It was hope that guided two women at opposite ends of the continent 10 years ago. Hope that guided Irene's mother to take up the knife and kill the soldier who would have burned Irene alive. Hope that had guided Marin Larchen when she chose to buy a young heir time to run with her very life. Two women who had never known each other. Two women who the world had deemed ordinary. Two women, Josephine and Marin, who had chosen hope in the face of darkness. Two women, in the end, who had brought them all this moment, the one shot at a future. For them, Irene was not afraid. For the child she carried, she was not afraid. For the world she and Cal would build for their children, she was not afraid at all. The gods might have been gone, Silbo with them, but Irene could have sworn she felt those warm, gentle hands guiding her, perhaps upon Aaron's chest as he threshed the forest of a thousand dark suns, trying to rip her apart. Her power tore through them all, tore and shielded and ripped into him, into the withering worm that laid inside. And this part I like. Where he's talking about, I shall rip you apart, he hissed. Started with the babe in your a thought, and Irene's power flared brighter. Irwin screamed. The power of creation and destruction. That's what lay within her. Life giver, world builder. Maker. Bit by bit she burned him up, starting at his limbs working inward, and when her magic began to slow, Irene held out a hand. She didn't feel the sting of her palm cutting open, barely felt the pressure of the callous hand that linked with hers. But when Dorian's raw magic barreled into her, Irene gasped and turned into starlight, into warmth and strength and joy. Gosh, can you imagine how powerful Dorian turned out to be in this book? He was more powerful in this book than Aelin. That's possible. And I love this where he says, for Arlen, for Sorcerer, for Gavin and Aline, for all of them, Dorian let his power flow through Irene. Erwin threshed, his power raising only to strike against an imperative wall of light, and yet Dorian found himself saying his name. Irene focused upon the task before her, didn't so much as glance his way, but Aaron, through his screaming, met Dorian's stare. And then he talks about it saying, my father's name, tell me his name, give it back. Aaron laughing, screaming no. Dorian saying, give it back. Irene looking at him, doubt in her eyes, her magic paused just for a heartbeat. Erwin trying to take advantage and let his power erupt. Dorian blasting it back and longing for the Demon King, for Damaris, or Damaris, how do you say the sword's name? And then Dorian saying, tell me his name. Irene only laughed again. Erwin only laughed again, choking at their power seared him. Doesn't matter, Irene asked softly. Yes, he didn't know why, but it did. His father had wiped from the afterworld. His father has been wiped from the afterworld, from every realm of existence, but he could still have his name given back to him, if only to repay the debt. If only so Dorian might grant the man some shred of peace. Erwin's power surged for them again. Dorian Irene shoved it back. Now, it has to be now. Tell me his name, Dorian snarled. No. Dorian Irene warned, blah, blah, blah. Dorian sent the power rippling down the blade. Damaris, how do you say the sword's name, halted glow. Tell me it is your own. Erwin's eyes widened as the words came out of him. As Damaris, or how do you say the sword's name, drew it from him. But Dorian did not marvel at the sword's power. His father's name, Dorian. I took his name, Erwin spat, withering as the words flowing from his tongue under Damaris' powers. I wiped it away from existence, yet he only remembered it once. Only once, the first time he held you. Or beheld you. And then it talks about the tears falling down his face, and then Dorian's name is the same as his dad's, and then so Dorian said to Erwin, his tears burning away beneath his warmth of their magic, I brought down your keep, he smiled savagely, and now we'll bring down yours as well. Bring down you as well. Then he nodded to Irene. Erwin's eyes flared like hot coals and Irene unleashed the power once more. Erwin could do nothing against the raw magic, joining with Irene, weaving into the world, making power. The entire city, the plain become gleamingly bright, so bright that Elide and Larson shielded their eyes. Even Dorian shut his eyes, but Irene saw it all, the way Aaron's core, what laid at Aaron's core, and then it talks about the blah blah blah, and then she says to him, "You're pathetic." His golden eyes flared rage and hate, but she only smiled, summoned her mother's lovely face, wishing that she knew what Alide's mother had looked like. She might show him Marin Lorchen too, or Lorcan too. Lorchen, how do you say name? The two women he had killed, directly or indirectly, and never thought twice about. Two mothers who lost for their daughter and hope. Whose love for their daughter and hope for a better world was greater than any power Erwin might yield, greater than any Winder key, or how do you say it? It says something about him screaming. She did not listen to Erwin's pleas, his threats. She only tightened her fist more and more until he was nothing but a dark flame within it. And then it says Dorian longed for her hand to renew contact, but there was no need for his power or Urine's, not as Erwin's golden eyes opened and unseeingly as the gaze of the night sky above sagged to the stone of the balcony. And then he rotted away, and she said, "Burn it." And Dorian did not hesitate. Flames leaped out, devouring the decaying body before them. They were unnecessary. Before they even began to turn his clothing to ash, Erwin dissolved, a sagged bit of flesh and brittle bones. Dorian burned him anyways. They watched in silence as the Vag, or how you say it, king, turned to ash, as winter wind swept over the tower balcony and carried them far, far away. And it's sad when, when they're all being controlled by Meave, the guys, and Rowan thinks that Aelin is dead, and Farah, how do you say his name? Faris, thinking about Cornell, how do you say his name? More Dory, her thinking that she can't endure anymore as Rowan kneeling there screaming. Larkin thinking about Maeve. Larkin thinking that Elide still hates him. Maeve talking about how at least Gravel died nobly. You didn't know, did you? The lion will roar no longer. His life the asking price for defending his cub. That's sad when she didn't realize that she didn't know. Everybody knows but her that Gabriel died. And then more, then Larkin, like I said again, then more with Frent. I always say his name wrong. But anyways, more with him, Finran. Then and then how Rowan is fighting the fight. The power, the power that Meave has over him. Yeah. So this basically was their plan too, kind of. That was neat. And I like how she blinked 4 times for Fenris and said, "I am here, I'm with you," because they had that little cute code or a cute little thing that they did together. And then her talking to everybody, saying she's there for them. And then says anything, take it out. Oh, okay, because of the ring. I forgot. Elide gave Aelin the ring. That part was interesting, but that's why she gave it to her for this part. And says, "You came here to escape a husband you did not love, a world you did not love." And then she she was saying that to Maeve, of course. And then she said, and you, and it says something about yes. She's saying yes, Maeve, and then she's saying, and you love this world. You love, how do you say that word? And Maeve says yes, in the way that I can love anything. And she said, pretend like she would let her banish her, and she said yes. And she would do anything basically that Aelin wanted. And then Aelin said, you could go to hell. I love that part. And then said Aelin backed to Rowan's side as Maeve began to screaming and screaming towards the dark skies, towards the stars. Maeve had wanted the ring not for protecting against Vlag or Vog, how we say it. No, she used Vlag, or how we say it. She wanted it so that no one might have it. It says, yet when Elide had given it to Aelin, it had not been to destroy the queen, but to keep Aelin safe, and Maeve would never know it. That gift, the gift and power, friendship. And then her mouth opens to a scream. Trembling to snow. Aelin moving against Golden through Maeve's skull into the earth beneath. And then Larkin saying, burner. And then, when line after line of the Vogue soldiers fell to their knees mid-fight with the Fae and wolves and Dahlgren cavalry, how do you say it? Yeah, all this stuff is neat. Aelin knew for certain when Aaron had gone. What had brought him down. And then, of course, the part that I love, Irene, 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 everybody's yelling. And then we have where everybody has their final goodbyes. Well, before that, we have where, what's it called? Where she has her coronation, and that's when she, you know, before she's completely done, she lets Adian swear the blood oath to her, and then we have, like I was talking about, with all the girls parade coming out first, and then her saying walk with me to all the girls, and then the guys behind, and Rowan thinking about Sam, that he would be proud of her and all this stuff. Another thing I want to touch on really quick, because this is almost an hour video, is I love, 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 love this book. I can't help it, you guys. I really love this book. But yeah, it is just really good. I mean, I just loved it. I loved the end where they're just thinking about finally having peace and looking out. And yeah, it was sad when they were saying their goodbyes. It was funny when I think it was Irene was saying to Dorian and Manon that they should get married. That was funny, that she was the one that said it. And Dorian was all embarrassed, like, no, don't say that. I don't want her to think that I put you up to it or something. So cute. But yeah, when they all said their goodbye, and Aelin was talking about like needing to stay in bed and do the queen stuff tomorrow, that she just wanted to be in bed to cry, and Dorian talking about, I mean, not Dorian. Oh my gosh. Rowan talking about that he should get her chocolate or something. It was so funny. Oh, and I can't remember what the name is, but Larkins has to take, since him and Elide got married, he had to take hers because she's a lady. So he had to take her last name, so it was Larkin, or something. Something like with the LL. It was so funny. The whole, like, name. I would look for it, but this is almost an hour video. But I love that part when she was saying, now you gotta take my name, and it's this. And he was like, for you, I will do it. You know, that was so cute. Yeah, but the ending, I just loved it. Like I said, I love that she didn't, like, she gave an idea that that Dorian and Manon would get together, but she didn't actually put them together. And I like that they wanted Dorian or somebody to train the what is that, like the egg or whatever the thing was. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I love that part. I like that that what's his name? What's his name again? I just said his name a little bit ago. The one I think might be Get with Anson. But anyways, I also liked Prince Galen and how he came and he said, well, it was about time that he actually showed up, or that someone from her, whatever you want to call it, would show up. That was cute. And then this part, Aelin looked at Cal and Dorian and sobbed, opened her arms to them, and wept as they held each other. I love you both. Aww. And then this part where she said, alright. And tomorrow, she asked breathlessly, and they both paused to look at each other, to smile. Will you work to rebuild the kingdom, this world, with me tomorrow? Tomorrow and every day after, every day of the 1,000 blessed years that we were granted together and beyond. Ah, to whatever end, she breathed. To whatever end, Fireheart. Can I give you a suggestion for what we should rebuild first? And Aelin smiled, and eternity opened before them, shining and glorious and lovely. Tell me tomorrow. Oh, I also liked the part, even though I thought it was sad when Rowan, before she was saved, and Rowan was thinking about her and having kids, and her like already having like 2 or 3 kids and another one on the way. That part was cute, and I like this ending. Like okay, it's Lord Larkin Lochin or something like that is what his title is now. But anyways, and then I like this part. It says, Rowan, she whispered. From the rustle of sheets, she knew he was instantly awake, stalking towards her, even as he shoved on his pants. But Aelin didn't turn as he rushed onto the balcony and halted too. And then it says, a hand rising to her mouth, Aelin scanned the broad sweep of the world. The mountain wind brushed away her tears, carrying with it a song ancient and lovely. For the very heart of Oakwald, the very heart of our earth. Rowan twinned his fingers into hers and whispered awe in every word. For you, Fireheart. All of this is for you. Aelin wept then, wept in joy that lifted her heart, brighter than any magic could ever be. For across every mountain, speared beneath the green canopy of Oakwald, carpeting the entire palm of Terralyn, the king flame was blooming. Aww. Loved it. Just a great, great, great book. 5 freaking stars. I love the ending. I know some people were not, excuse me, like I mentioned, not happy because some of the main character didn't die, but still, I loved it. I loved the whole thing. I thought it was good. So, yeah, that is it, because this is an hour video. Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But, yeah, let me know down below what some of your favorite parts were. Try not to be too spoilery if possible, in case anybody reads it that hasn't, when it goes into comments and haven't, read the book yet. So try to just like do it like in a way that I'll understand what you're talking about without actually giving spoils. But yeah, very good book. But I'm gonna let you guys go. Remember, like I always say, if you guys need someone to talk to, find one of your friends, talk to them. Okay? There's always somebody that will talk to you. That's what us book lovers are here for as well. To take care of one another and to have fun and to do, group reads and things. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Remember, if you stayed this long, oh my gosh, thank you guys. And if you liked the video, thumbs up. Leave some comments down below, like I mentioned. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. And if you do, remember to push the bell icon for you'll know whenever a video goes up. So yeah, this one definitely did a good job. and it definitely made me happy. I was very happy with the ending. So thank you, Sarah J. Maas, for such a wonderful book and a wonderful ending, and for me loving these characters so much, especially Dorian. And bye, everybody. I'll talk to you guys all later. Lori out.